Welcome to The Project. Tonight, budget bliss or blues? How will the Treasurer win over Aussies just days out from the federal election being called?
Honorary Aussie Robbie Williams was awarded keys to one of our cities, but the whole thing's shrouded in controversy. Find out why.
Plus, why the bookies reckon Donald Trump might win the 2028 election. So could a legal loophole really see him dodge the two-term limit?
And Kiwi comedian, one of the great guys of comedy, Guy Montgomery, reveals the very famous person he has tattooed on his bum. Now, I have seen it, and personally, I thought you deserved to be on both cheeks, Kate. Not just the left.
Really?
He's done you dirty, I think.
Really?
Live from the lands of the cool nation and fresh from said butt, it's Kate Langrose. That must be.
Oh, well, I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's the other cheek reserved for?
It's Waleed.
It's like when Proper Reid had Ita Buttrose on his butt.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Can I just say, I reckon there are a couple of differences.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's
between
exactly
guys.
the same as
Rose.
They call that
Let's
Montgomery
get
the
into
Chopper Reid
tonight's
of New
news
Zealand.
now. And a stunning backflip from the Queensland government tonight, revealing plans to build a new 63,000-seat stadium at Victoria Park for the 2032 Brisbane Olympics. The idea of revamping Cusack has been ditched, and the Gabba will be demolished after the Games for a residential development. Also on the starting blocks, a new aquatic centre will be built at the Senate Centenary Pool in Spring Hill.
That's delivering legacy for the future, and I confirm it will be the best aquatic centre in the globe.
Oh.
Well, Olympic champion Ariane Titmus is with us now. Arnie, you were critical, like many of us, about the old plans for the Olympics, but what do you think about these new ones?
I think it's just exciting for our country, exciting for our city. I think the Olympic Games is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to stamp your city as a global city and create an ongoing legacy for the entire country, and finally to see some plans that are going to stack up against the Paris Olympics and LA Olympics is really exciting for not just the people involved in the Olympic Games, but the entire community.
The plans, I think, are very good for you because this 25,000-seat Olympic capacity aquatic centre seems extraordinary. Is this enough to keep you swimming until 2032?
A 25,000-seat stadium is exciting for everyone involved. I think that anything in life is drawn from inspiration, and the inspiration piece that a stadium like that will create for young kids watching the Olympics at home, knowing that maybe one day they can swim at that pool in their home city, is where they're going to find the next athletes. And I think it's so amazing that finally our country's most successful Olympic sport is going to have a magnificent aquatic centre in the hub of swimming in our country.
What about the Gabba? Are you as upset as Waleed, who is frankly devastated?
He was in tears earlier today.
Very upset.
I haven't thought about the Gabba too much. I think that the Gabba is I think that the Gabba is an incredible stadium, but I think there's always room for improvement. And the stadium that they've pitched to build looks unbelievable, and it's double the size of the Gabba. And I think that's what you need for the scale of an Olympic Games, a major stadium on that scale.
But Arnie, you just spoke about being inspired by this new aquatic centre. How many people grew up watching the Gabba, the first test of the summer, destroying England so many times?
Beautiful.
The Gabbatoir. I mean, why are we destroying it? What precious little history we have.
Did Peter Siddle's hat-trick mean nothing to you?
I was probably 9 years old when that happened.
Is it possible that it's just that you're a Hawthorn fan and you're quite happy to see the Lions kicked off their home deck?
No, because you know what? The Lions are going to have a brand new, beautiful AFL stadium for them to play at from 2023.
Arnie, thank you so much for your time. How exciting.
Thank you, guys. Very exciting.
Wow.
Gosh, it is exciting. We're off now.
Well, we're off, but also I'm just constantly struck about how cavalier Australia is with its history. It's just like rip it down and build a new one.
Yeah.
Like it's like the Gabba. I don't even like the cricket, and I'm horrified.
Because it's a fixture of...
It's essentially Queensland's Opera House. You know, this is what we're dealing with here.
This is, you know what?
Who? People who don't even have never lived in Queensland.
Australian cricket belongs to us all.
Okay.
Honestly, what other ground has the glorious history of playing Test cricket in the middle of a greyhound track.
That's true.
I give this to you. Have we got this vision?
Oh.
Yeah, this is magnificent.
This is beautiful.
That's the outside of the boundary.
You know?
They're playing cricket on the inside.
That's
No other ground has that.
That's when
This is great.
That is culture, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also, I mentioned before, Peter Siddle's hat-trick on his birthday. It's not going to be greyhounds, but it's one of... He was loaded up on bananas. He'd just gone vegan. He took a hat-trick. It was absolute. Look at this. The crowd went crazy. Look at him go. Look at that. Oh, my God. I'm getting emotional.
Look at the coloured seats.
Emotional.
Everything about this is brilliant. And on a slightly more serious, but I think like colossal note,
Yes.
the Gabba was home to Test cricket's first ever tied match.
Exactly.
Between Australia and the West Indies in the 60s.
Look at this footage.
This is the footage of it. Photos from this game were on the front of every cricket scorebook around the country.
I remember this as a child. Dad came home from the milk bar with some hard candy. He said, turn the radio on, mate. Something special is happening. It was the most exciting thing in my
I
childhood.
think he said transistor.
He might have,
Didn't he?
But, you know, it was the most exciting thing till the Beatles toured a few years later. It was...
And you know why you were so excited? Because it was the one time your dad came home from the milk bar.
It doesn't matter what the topic is. It's always the destination.
Hey, guys, I hope you like your interstate politics well done. Let me tell you, because New South Wales Premier Roast Master Chris Minns was on fire today.
Look, I genuinely wish Brisbane the very best for the Olympic Games. They're competing for the title of second best Olympics ever.
Oh, and he's not wrong. Sydney was special. There's only one Nicky Webster. Let me tell you, there's never getting that again. He did save the real spice, though, the real heat for the New South Wales opposition.
Yeah, look, I've been in opposition. It's tough. It is a tough job. I wish them the very best and hopefully they get good at it.
A lot of shade for a bloke with an Ace Ventura haircut, let me tell you. It's coming back your way, Chris.
And also, he doesn't hope they get good at it.
No, that's right.
Because
he
if
just
they
hopes
get
they get a
too
lot
good...
of experience with the band.
Yes.
Now we've workshopped his joke, let's move on. Former broadcaster turned Perth Mayor Basil Zempilas has scored a new job. He's now leader of the WA Liberals. He was elected unopposed at a party room meeting this morning, just days after winning the seat of Churchlands. He takes up the leadership role as a first-term MP.
And it seems we are battling decision fatigue. A new survey has found Aussies are spending 11 days a year searching for something to watch rather than actually watching something, anything. That means we are wasting 42 minutes a day on average, doom scrolling through our streaming services. This leads to filler frustration for 1 in 5. And more than 30% of us just end up rewatching something familiar. That's me.
Really?
Yeah, and they've actually shown that people with anxiety just want to watch the familiar stuff because it calms their nervous system.
I like children want to hear the same book over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't relate to this at all. Like,
How unusual, Wally. Because when I watch the project, I'm always like, that guy, he's the relatable one.
You are on fire today, Kayla Brook.
Wait till she gets going on my father. No, seriously, because everyone is recommending so many shows all the time.
I know, it's exhausting.
I can't keep up with that. So
With
every
that
time I
demand.
sit down, I've got to do this because there's 4 other
at
ones.
the moment?
Severance.
It just finished.
Do you want any other questions, Kate?
No, I thought it would be some historical walking tour around ancient Britain.
That's because you're talking to your own joke in your head.
I just leave it on template.com.au. Time for a break. We'll see you very soon.
Are you still exhausted by the US election and relieved we don't have to go through that again for another 3 years? Then we have some terrible news. The campaign for 2028 has begun, and a group of Republicans already has a candidate in mind. Who is it? It's hard to imagine, but there are people alive today who can remember what US elections looked like without Donald Trump.
Just goes on forever.
Now, Don's on-again, off-again advisor, Steve Bannon, has dropped a bit of a bombshell.
I am a firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028. A man like this comes along once every century if we're lucky.
While this may sound like little more than the usual effervescent support of dear leader from his loyal followers, one online bookmaker puts Trump's odds of winning again at 5-1, second only to JD Vance.
If history has taught us anything, is that they really do mean what they have been saying.
Steve Bannon is trying to create tension in the political sphere. He's trying to basically intimidate the political opposition.
Concern over a potential third dose of Donald goes far beyond fears he'll use the presidency to further test the US Constitution.
The Constitution, they don't even know what they're talking. Well,
it's the fact that a third term would itself violate the Constitution. The last president to stick around for more than 2 terms was Franklin Roosevelt.
Hello.
After his 4th consecutive win in 1944, lawmakers decided to add some presidential guardrails. By 1951, the 22nd Amendment was ratified, making term limits the law of the land. 2 terms and you're done. But Steve Bannon doesn't seem terribly bothered by trivial matters like legality.
Well, that would require amending the Constitution.
Well, we'll see about that. We'll see what the definition of term limit is.
Yes, Bannon reckons he's found a loophole, claiming the amendment only applies to consecutive terms.
Since it doesn't actually say consecutive, maybe we do it again in 28.
This notion of consecutive terms is, in my view, crazy because it doesn't appear in the Constitution. But that's not what's at play here. Bannon is going to try to create the view that that possibility might exist.
Abolishing term limits under US law is a very complicated process, but other world leaders have managed to do it, including China's Xi Jinping and Russia's Vladimir Putin. So Donald would be in good, well, he'd be in company.
I said, president for life, that sounds good. Maybe we're going to have to try it.
But how does Donald, who'll be a sprightly 82 when the next election comes around, feel about extending his lease on the White House?
It will be the greatest honor of my life to serve not once, but twice, or 3 times, or 4 times now.
See, you think he's serious, but then he does that little thing with his hand. Yeah, that thing. And gosh, could he just be joking?
I'm joking.
Donald Trump is joking until he's not joking.
But I'm joking.
It's impossible to know what he will do because he fakes it until he's there and insists that that's where they're going. And that's part of Steve Bannon's strategy.
We're not going to retreat. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to quit. Fight, fight, fight.
Wowzers.
So we're basing the whole thing off his advisor from 8 years ago who hosts a podcast that he might run in 2028.
Not only that.
What else?
About him making jokes.
Yeah.
Okay.
My fingers are crossed. Good for comedy. Keep him in there as long as possible.
I think in the end it doesn't matter, right? Because it just comes down to whether or not there's a constitutional argument.
You can't do it. That's right. I mean, most Republicans think that too. It's like, what is it, Amendment 22 or something that cannot be changed? It won't happen.
Well, unless they change that.
Yeah, if people could come back, then we could have an Obama-Trump double-header.
So
I'll leave us Fraser. This
is the unintended consequence of it.
That would be incredible.
So what would a Trump-Obama contest look like? Because I can't decide whether Obama would totally wipe the floor with him or get nowhere near him. I think it's one of those two things, and I honestly don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but I can't actually tell which one it would be.
One way to find out.
Let's do it. All right.
Rip open that Constitution.
Yeah,
Let's get into it. Now, guys, normally, I don't know if you watch the show, but normally I play funny clips often. I present something that's quite funny, but this is actually quite a serious public safety announcement. So listen up, guys. This is very serious. This is from the South Australian Health Department regarding fishing.
If they're alive when you catch them, they're safe to eat. Obviously, you shouldn't take fish that are already dead on the beach because they're decomposing.
There you go. And that, I want to say that goes for roadkill as well. No matter how hungry you are, just leave it, OK? It's decomposing, apparently.
Sam, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's important. I had to do it.
Appreciate it.
What would we do without the government?
The government?
Yeah, the government.
Apparently we'd be eating decomposing fish.
We wouldn't know.
Subtext there. Let's go to a break. We'll see you soon.
Sorry, I was checking my fit. Now, the news media industry, guys, it's made up of some of the world's most exceptionally talented people, and also the Daily Mail do it as well. But the international TV news media, it's no different, guys. I'm here to bring you all the best bits. Let's do it. Woo! All right, let's start in the skies with some international flight drama.
An overseas flight was forced to divert last night for an unusual reason. United Flight 198 took off from Los Angeles for Shanghai, China, when the crew suddenly asked to divert to San Francisco.
Okay.
Turns out one of the pilots had forgotten their passport.
There you go. I mean, yeah, no, it does happen. His day got worse. He actually locked his keys in the cockpit as well. The airport locksmith call-out fee was crazy. Now, it wasn't the only global jet-setting incident recently.
Right now, a man is filing a lawsuit against United Airlines. The passenger claims during a flight from Mexico to Houston, a pilot forcibly removed him from the plane's restroom while he was using it.
Oh boy. Now, basically in aviation terms, the passenger's landing gear was still down. Also, it's grim the pilot had to do it. Like, dragging some dude off the toilet seat really feels like the co-pilot's job, you know?
Yeah. Especially while he's dumping fuel.
She is on fire, this lady. Now to the BBC for some nature news.
Don't judge a blob by its cover. Okay. That's the message from an environmental group which has crowned the blobfish its Fish of the Year. Once named the world's ugliest animal thanks to its unique appearance, the blobfish is now being celebrated for its differences.
Well, it's definitely different, that's for sure. But look, you know, squeeze a bit of lemon on it, wrap it in foil, throw it on the barbie. I'm not here to body shame, you know. Next, a story that proves that the rules really are different for hot people.
Cops first arrested Lily on March 8th after speeding not once, but twice in a span of just 2 minutes. It didn't take long for Lily's mesmerizing mugshot to go viral.
Have you learned your lesson?
100%. That didn't last long. Lily Stewart has been arrested again.
Again, guys, hot girl math is 2 crimes cancel each other out. Judge math is 12 to 18 months in the big house, so enjoy that. Now, guys, see if you can spot the exact moment this reporter realises he's made a very big mistake.
They have tons of new things to get into at the park, including a brand new ride.
Hey, yeah, good morning, Macy. I'm here on Raptor, their new roller coaster here at King's Dominion.
Oh my God, corkscrews are the worst!
Now, the worst part is that he had to buy that recording from the gift shop on the way out so he could play it on the program that night. It was quite insulting. Finally, guys, 2 Japanese tourists were deported for mooning on the Great Wall of China. What? That is mooning, you know what that is. It's not good. And if you can't visualise the incident, guys, don't worry. Our good friends at the Tokyo-based Fuji News Network, they've got you covered with a truly iconic 3D recreation.
北京郊外にある万里の長城を2人で訪れた際、男性がズボンを脱ぎ、尻を出すと、一緒にいた女性がそれを撮影。
Thank God they did it. Now, they're great people at the Fuji News Network. They even gave us the picture in question of that guy's pants down area. There it is. That's amazing, guys. That's the news done.
Coming up, we ask voters what matters to them ahead of tonight's federal budget and what would get them over the line with the countdown to the election on. You are watching The Project. See you soon. Welcome back. This is The Project.
Well, the Treasurer is staring down a decade of deficits as the clock ticks down to tonight's budget. But that hasn't stopped the government dropping a few hefty pre-election sweeteners. So will it be enough to woo voters?
It's budget night, baby. And everyone wants to know what's in it for them.
It is so hard. It's impossible to live right now.
I want to see that reflected in this budget. Bring the food prices down, please.
With children, it's important to me cost of living.
The main focus?
We have shown a willingness and an enthusiasm to do what we responsibly can to help people with the cost of living.
Hip pocket relief front and centre. The government has already announced a $1.8 billion cash splash to extend the energy rebate, knocking another $150 off soaring power bills for every household.
Why am I getting that money, mate? Not means testing and throwing your money out there, taxpayers' money out the way that they are, like they're a packet of lollies, is absolutely disgusting.
It is far more efficient to deliver it in the way that we have to make sure that every Australian household receives this support, because that is what is deserved.
Then there's the $8.5 billion boost to Medicare, aiming to make 9 out of 10 GP visits bulk billed by 2030. And the PBS pledge, cutting the cost of PBS medicines to no more than $25.
The election will be a referendum on Medicare.
The government attempting to use this unexpected fourth budget to woo voters with cost of living relief, ahead of what's set to be a cost of living election.
We need a budget for the next 5 years and beyond, not just a budget for an election campaign.
Before the last budget, 80% of voters couldn't name a single thing the government had done to make them financially better off. But after the budget was handed down, around half said they could.
Whoever brings a good budget out, my vote goes for them, for sure.
I'll need a lot of convincing. It's so important for us to be spending our money in the right places, and if we're not, then why would they get our vote?
So, with an election just days away from being called, will tonight's budget shape the result?
Economist Stephen Koukoulis is with us now. Kouk, you were an economic policy advisor to Julia Gillard when she was Prime Minister. So pull the political curtain back for us. What would the vibes be like behind the scenes? How would the Treasurer and PM be feeling?
Yeah, budget night's so exciting. It's the culmination of weeks and months of work. It's a combination of both getting the economics and economic policy right, or trying to do the right thing by the voters, but it's also what's the update on the economy? What's the budget balance? Did we get a surplus? How big was the deficit? So it's the fruition of all that hard work. The speech starts shortly. The Treasurer gets to his feet and delivers the speech, and then there's a great big sigh of relief that the budget's finished for another year.
And because of the timing, is there a real consideration that this budget could affect the election?
Oh, look, I think so. We know that the election's probably going to be called possibly this weekend. The rumours are flying around about that timing. And of course, it's the government wanting to lay its economic credentials on the line. It's wanting to say that, yes, they're delivering a budget that's promoting economic growth, that's got inflation back towards the target range, where unemployment rates still hovering around 4.25%. So that's good news. And in fact, one of the best things you can do for cost of living is keeping people in a job, because if you don't have a job, cost of living's absolutely horrendous. If you've got a job, yes, it's stressful still, but at least that full employment goal is part of the budget strategy.
This is a pre-election budget, not one they wanted to give, incidentally, but they're stuck with it. And there's always a danger with pre-election budgets that they end up throwing out a whole lot of money and they make bad decisions for a political return. Do you think there's a risk of that happening tonight?
Look, there's always a risk, and there's always a risk that the opposition comes back with something similar too. But of the things that I've seen, and obviously we'll get the full details shortly, things like extending the electricity subsidy and Medicare payments and these things, they're all pretty good ideas, I think. And yes, they cost a lot of money. Yes, they're pumping money into the economy. And yes, they're one of the reasons why we've gone from a surplus last year to a deficit this year. But frankly, I prefer to have a deficit when the economy is at full employment than a surplus and we have 1 million people unemployed. That's the sort of trade-offs that policymakers, governments, treasurers make when they frame a budget each year.
You mentioned the excitement, and let me tell you, the atmosphere in this studio is electric because of the school group are loving it. But it is so exciting that influencers, this is real, have been invited to the budget lockup for the first time. What are they doing there? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, look, I think it's part of the strategy of appealing to people who aren't normally engaged in the political process. Yeah, as we've just discussed, there's an election soon, and we know that a lot of people, particularly the younger folk, are disengaged with the political system. So to the extent that they get influencers who tend to have a younger audience getting engaged in some of the policy initiatives that will be in the budget, I think it's just the government trying to sort of broaden the distribution of their news and appeal to the way that news is distributed. We don't just read the newspapers anymore. In fact, I can't even remember when I bought a newspaper last time. It's all social media, it's TV, it's watching the project after it's recorded live. So there's a whole lot of things that they're doing, and I think the influencers are designed to sort of spread the message from the government's perspective.
We're live now, Kouk.
Yeah, we're live.
I know we're live now, but we'll watch it on iView tomorrow.
Good to see you, Kouk. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
He's got a budget party to get to. Let's get some more news now. And environmentalists have staged a protest at Parliament House as Treasurer Jim Chalmers put the finishing touches on his fourth federal budget. Upset about new legislation designed to safeguard Tasmania's salmon fishing industry, they were dragged out by security.
Nature laws under attack. Stand up, fight back. It's my arm back. Nature laws are under attack. Stand up, fight back.
It appears Clive Palmer has boosted his online advertising spend as he looks to promote his Trumpet of Patriots party ahead of the federal election. He's reportedly spent around $50,000 on one Facebook ad featuring right-wing American TV host Tucker Carlson. But for all that cash, Carlson's name was spelled incorrectly in the post.
Oh
no.
Carsland.
Maybe that's who they got. Maybe they got it. Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
And couldn't afford the real thing.
How often do you wash your feet? Well, it's a body part many of us might overlook. Experts say we should prioritise foot washing as a daily task. They say the soles of our feet have 600 sweat glands, so advise a daily going over with soap and water to eliminate odour. Cleaning between the toes is especially important as it's a hot spot for fungus and bacteria to grow.
God. Wow.
That is more feet than we've shown in the history of the show.
I know, they said that's almost weird. Someone's got a fetish.
Someone's paid
trying
for
to get that OnlyFans market on the project.
You, Taunton?
Me? I'm not a big foot person. I mean, I was about to answer that properly. No, I'm not. I don't know.
Wash your feet?
I wash my feet, but sometimes this is actually very
here
personal.
we go.
Sometimes when I wash the bottom of my foot with like a bar of soap, I get quite ticklish and I stop. So I'm like, and then I'm like, that's enough.
Don't save him, Waleed.
No.
Just let him swing.
No, but don't you ever get... the feet are kind of quite sensitive.
Well, I think in a shower, the feet end up washing themselves.
No, you've got to get in and give them a good wash.
There was a big controversy about this, about whether you wash any, like your legs or not. And there's two schools of thought. Some just trickle down effect.
Yes.
But much like trickle down economics, maybe it doesn't work.
I shaved my toes when I was 10. I shaved my toes during an at-home pedicure. I've got like full-on Sasquatch feet now. Like it looks like the hobbits from Lord of the Rings.
I don't think it looks like
Sorry.
They've come back thicker, like as thick as Rawleed's hair on my toes.
Oh my God.
Sarah, there's only one way this ends, and that is you have to show us your feet.
Oh, well, they're hidden away in socks tonight.
Subscribe to my Instagram private list. I'll show you everyone's feet on the desk.
Yeah, my OnlyFans page, my Only Feet page. Hey, Tourism Australia's new campaign to bag international visitors will be a 10-part TV show called Experience Australia. The series pictures us as, quote, the best destination in the world and is described as a mix between David Attenborough and Getaway. And here with her thoughts is Aussie advocate and Lara Bingle's buddy, oracle of everything, Mel Buttle. Hey, Mel. What can we expect from the new show?
The show will capture scenes of true blue quintessential Aussie experiences, which I'm guessing will include things like backyard Gooner fortune, finding a spider in the car at 110 kilometres an hour, voting for whoever your parents voted for, asking someone you just met where they went to school, and grown men listening to Hilltop Hoods through a Bluetooth speaker on the train.
I feel so patriotic already. So pretty much just your standard Australian travel series then, I guess, Mel.
Well, the style of the show is said to be like David Attenborough meets Getaway, which begs the question, why isn't legendary Getaway host Katrina Roundtree involved?
Yes.
I would prefer the government spend the money on a campaign to find Katrina Roundtree.
Yes.
Where the bloody hell are you, Katrina? I got quite accustomed to my weekly dose of her side boob on a massage table in Fiji. What sort of a world is this when Sam Taunton, the talking haircut, is on TV 5 nights a week and Katrina Roundtree is only on once a week? Go home, you poor man's Tommy Little.
I believe the media blogs are calling me Timu Tommy Little, so the first thing, maybe get it right. But secondly, what kind of visitors Tourism Australia trying to win over with this?
Chinese, American and New Zealand tourists are the target, and I get it. I get why you would want to come here if you're from China or America. But why are the Kiwis coming here? What for? Just to see what their country might be like if the mercury ever got over 26 degrees? Look, I love New Zealand and I know we're here to promote the new Aussie tourism campaign, but that, I've got to say, please go and see New Zealand. If you never have, it is amazing. It is like someone spread Hobart out over 2 islands.
Well, how exactly are they hoping to win over these tourists?
Well, they want to showcase our laid-back larrikin way of life, Kate, which is characterised by the following. You can't own a rabbit in Queensland, you can't park on there, that's a no standing zone till 7 p.m, that's a taxi zone from 11 till 6. No booze on the beach, you can't eat and smoke in the same spot at the pub, wear thongs on the grass, you get bindies, close the door, a snake will get in, clean your gutters every summer, there might be a cyclone, it might not rain for 5 months, you can't swim in there from November till May, it's stinger season, keep left unless overtaking, no guns, you've got to wear a seatbelt, don't touch your phone in the car, you can only buy mid-strength beer at the footy, we'll have to scan your licence to come into this pub, plastic cups on game day, you can't be truts with the glass, no shots after midnight, no hands out the window while you're driving, no parking within 5 metres of a post box. If you get skin cancer, if you go outside, no hat, no play. Sorry, I'm sorry about that rant. I'm just a bit worked up about the whole Katrina Roundtree thing.
We love you, Mel.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right after this, see you soon. Well, it's the new scandal, rock DJing, the city of Melbourne, accusations of kickbacks and, conflicts of interest, all involving our favourite honorary Aussie. And A giant fake key.
He's the British superstar we love to love. And the feeling's very much mutual.
I feel very Australian.
Back in January, the City of Melbourne decided to give Robbie Williams a token of that love.
Robbie Williams, the keys to this city.
Many international entertainers have won this award over the years. Muhammad Ali, Olivia Newton-John. So we felt that Robbie, given everything he's done for Melbourne, was deserving of the award.
But today, reports all was not as it seemed. Stick with me here. John Kirby, a part owner of Village Roadshow, whose subsidiary Roadshow Films distributed Robbie's Better Man film, reportedly donated $10,000 to the Lord Mayor's election campaign. And then Roadshow Films asked the City of Melbourne to consider awarding Robbie the keys.
The keys to this city.
I don't think this passes the pub test. I think that people would be pretty outraged to know that our city can be potentially bought.
Campaign donations have absolutely nothing to do with Robbie Williams receiving the keys to the city.
$10,000 would be a big price to pay for the perks associated with the keys to the city, which amount to nothing. Absolutely nothing, but great honour and a giant fake key. But it hasn't always been that way. The tradition stems from medieval times.
In the age of ye oldness, walled cities were guarded by day and locked by night.
And VIPs, very important persons, were given the key to the city so they could come and go at any hour.
Well, what are these keys for?
The key to my chastity belt.
Rightio. Better have a couple of meads first, I reckon.
Robbie's is far from the first key-related controversy. In 2015, the US city of Stockton created waves after taking the concept to a higher plane.
A controversial meeting involving a key to the city given to God by the city's mayor and an atheist group who's threatening to sue.
And in the 80s, Detroit gave one to Saddam Hussein, who one local described as a very generous, warm man who just let too much power go to his head.
Saddam. Where was I gonna go, Detroit?
So should our cities continue to dish out keys to pop stars and higher powers?
I don't know, yeah, probably.
Or is it time we left this great tradition in the past?
Drink up. These keys aren't going to rust themselves.
I just spat into the thing.
Well, Thunder from Down Under were granted the keys to the Vegas Strip back in 2022. Kurt and Alex are with us. Alex, how much did you pay for your key?
Yeah, just a handshake conversation with the mob out here is how it works in Vegas.
Hey, where do you guys put the key? Because you don't wear much on stage. Where do you slip it next, like in the inside bit of the G-string? I don't understand where you put it.
It's bigger than we thought. That's what the girls say too. But yeah, it's backstage in a cabinet so everyone can see it.
Fellas, in all seriousness, how hard do you have to work to get an honour like that bestowed upon you?
I mean, I think it's, to be correct, it's 20 years plus you have to be on the Strip. Thunder from Down Under's been here 25 years this year, which is a huge achievement. I think it's pretty awesome because there are guys coming and going, and we were lucky enough to be part of the generation that got to accept the key, which was awesome.
Wow.
Well, so we know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but if you get given a key to Vegas, do you get to take it home?
Yeah, think of it kind of like a football championship. You know, the celebrating happens that night. You take the trophy with you, and that kind of happened with the key. It made it to all the big nightclubs here. Did a lap of the Strip with us for sure.
So it sounds like the key has a great time going around. Do you get any privileges as a result of having the key?
There's a few nightclub spots we get to, get expedited entry, a few free bottles. It's not a bad thing to have in Vegas when they're paying 10 grand a table.
Ooh.
Oh, hey, do you guys know who else has been given a key to Vegas?
Yeah, there's a long history of it out here. We joined like Frank Sinatra, Elvis, MJ. There's some real key people, and now we're up there with them. Yeah,
guys, I've got a good locksmith. Any chance you could lend it to me? I'll get a cut.
I don't think you need to get a cut. I think you need to come for a trip over here, and we'll take you out.
Oh,
so it's really done.
Yeah, all right. I've just got to update my Anytime Fitness gym membership ASAP.
Kurt and Alex, appreciate your time, fellas. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Fellas.
Such a strange concept.
The key
to the city.
Yes.
Yeah, but
And also not very big. The Melbourne one was not very big.
Yeah.
Not big enough.
Well, I guess it's not a big door, so you don't need a big key.
And also they only paid 10 grand.
Yeah, right, yes.
Yeah,
Who was saying that Cher got the key to the city.
Oh, someone said this earlier today when we were chatting
Was
about
it in Adelaide? Yeah.
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 And then she sold it.
On eBay?
Yeah.
For over 100 grand?
What?
What? Yes.
You can buy Adelaide for 100 grand. That's insane.
Would you be
could
insulted
turn
if you were
back
Adelaide, though?
Well, you know, I mean, any of them, it's just such a strange thing who gets given the key.
And I gather in Melbourne, they like the Robbie Williamses, like the big international.
the big stars.
I was looking through Brisbane's list.
Oh, what do they got?
Well, it just, they seem to love sporting teams that win a game here or there. So the Brisbane Bullets, 1985.
The Bullets have got it.
The Brisbane Broncos. Leroy Loggins won it.
He's a legend.
My man, Leroy.
The Queensland Bulls. I mean,
I'll tell you what, I'd be giving that Las Vegas key a wash. That's all I'm saying. You know,
it's in a case.
I mean, it's a bizarre story, right? And the man in question, Melbourne Mayor Nick Rees, he was at the Comedy Festival launch, the Melbourne Comedy Festival this morning, and he steamed in. I liked it with the energy of a man desperate to avoid any questions about Robbie Williams.
Oh.
So I've just come off this stage at the Comedy Festival, so from one comedy show to another. Yes, can I just stand here for a moment while I recalibrate myself on the comedy stage?
Oh, Nick. Is that a key to the city in your pocket, or do you really love comedy? Tell me. Eventually, though, Nick completed his lost faith in comedy as a distraction strategy.
If I mention anything about the Comedy Festival, how great it is for Melbourne, is there any chance that'll make you feel? Anybody want to ask me any questions about the Comedy Festival?
Wow. No, you gave me
All right. Hopefully there's a grab in all of that.
Oh, now, if you're dipping your toe in comedy, Nick, let me tell you, that is what we call bombing.
Oh. How do you know?
I've just seen heaps of other comedians.
Got to take a break. More project and go Montgomery after this. Our next guest reckons our border security might be a bit outdated.
The one that I saw that really caught my eye was they said, "Do you have tuberculosis?" Have I flown over a date line to the 19th century? Do I have tuberculosis? You know, that's crazy. Because for me, tuberculosis is such an old disease. You know, I don't even really know what it is. So I'm sitting there on the plane trying to remember about tuberculosis, but I'm having kind of a hard time because, you know, I'm running a bit of a fever and I'm feeling quite fatigued.
Please welcome Guy Montgomery.
Welcome, Guy.
Welcome, Guy.
Yeah.
Having you here, but you've been doing quite a few trips back and forth over the
That's right. I'm trying to see where they're spending all the carbon credits I'm paying for. Because they say when you fly, if you pay for the carbon credits, they plant a tree.
Oh, yeah.
But I've been flying a lot. I've not seen many trees.
Well, yeah, you get to see one of them that you can claim, you know?
Yeah. To engrave my name into.
Yeah, right. Well, you do a lot of travel because you're back and forth so much. You're
That's
working
right.
here.
I'm both hither and thither.
Now, that must be frustrating, but not as frustrating as I think the concept. I don't know if we've spoken about this on the show before, your podcast, where you watch the same movie over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Does that get to you?
The worst idea of all time, it's been retired. It was a young man's game. My co-host and I, Tim Batt, we used to watch and review the same movie every week for a year. We did Sex and the City 2, which is actually a 2.5-hour film.
What, for a whole year?
For a whole year,
it's an epic film.
Did you discover anything on the 34th viewing? That
You'd be surprised, actually.
It's an Easter egg.
There are sort of featured extras become main players. Like your brain pulls focus. So what they're trying to make you focus on, it all becomes a conspiracy. What you're really meant to be watching is what's going on in the background.
Wow.
But with grown-ups too, there was this guy who was sort of above a featured extra. He was playing a frat boy. And we were really taken by him. And about 25 episodes in, we had a guest on, and they said, "Do you know who that guy you're obsessed with is? That's Patrick Schwarzenegger. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger's son."
Goodness.
And we thought, that's crazy. And we started calling him Patty Schwartz.
Yeah.
And so there was a segment on the podcast, we called it Patty Schwartz Party Time.
Yeah.
And every time we'd look into what Patty's investing in, we'd look into who he was dating and whatnot. We became like obsessives. And at the end of the season, we crowdfunded a trip to go to Los Angeles to do a live show. And our pledge was, if we raise X amount of dollars, I can't remember how much it was, we'll get matching
grown-ups 2 themed tattoos. And the tattoos we chose were those of Patrick Schwarzenegger.
This is huge.
Petty Schwartz to friends, Kate. I think you'd probably best call him Patrick.
Oh, really?
And by friends, I mean people who have him tattooed on their arms.
Yeah.
And so, in the intervening, I guess, 11 years, this has just been an obscure, sort of miscellaneous piece of ink on my body that is of no interest or knowledge to anyone. All of a sudden, the renaissance of Paddy Schwartz, he's stealing scenes in The White Lotus. He's plastered on my ass.
It's real.
It's real.
Prove it.
I can show. I'll gladly.
What?
Yeah.
Is this outrageous? Are you actually going to show us your?
Yeah. So it starts on the ass and it wraps around to the penis. So watch out for that now.
It's just like
Now look at that. There he is. That's Paddy.
I mean,
Does he know about this?
He does know about this, so we reached out to him. When we got to Los Angeles, after we got the tattoos, we said, Paddy, man, we just got you on our bodies. Come for a beer. Radio silence.
Yeah, that's not weird, isn't it?
I know,
That's
but
bizarre.
eventually word got back to him. We were following each other on Twitter for a while. I'd send him DMs. He knows I exist.
When you said has he unfollowed you?
No, I left the platform.
Right, okay.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was just getting too much for me.
Voluntarily?
No,
Was that part of the
voluntarily.
ABO?
No. I left it for political reasons. I agreed with everything too much. Yeah, of course.
Sorry, I'm just recovering because we have a guest there with his pants undone, sitting at the end.
So
of the...
yeah, well,
There's a school group in the audience. We've been talking about weird feet things. Now you're showing your ass.
Probably doesn't work.
Yeah, it's all a bad look.
By wild coincidence,
Yes.
we have Paddy Schwartz on the show next week.
You've got to call him Patrick. I don't think he likes the Paddy Schwartz. That's awesome.
But with respect, you don't know our relationship.
No, that's true. That's true. I don't.
This is your trick. Why don't you look down the barrel of the camera? You can ask him.
Is he in Australia?
Yeah, so we will play whatever question you want to ask. You ask him, we'll play.
Paddy, legit, come for a beer with me, man. Hit me up, Instagram DMs, you and me. It's what the people want to see. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh,
all right.
I would love it.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
And we're also going to show him the tattoo as well.
Yeah, of course. There's a video, it showed my Facebook memories of someone like, it's a small world, and there's someone who worked on a film set in Newham or whatever, and there's a video of him like in, I don't know, a suburb somewhere, suburban Connecticut, like in a puffer jacket being like, Tim, Guy, I can't believe you did this, man. You boys are crazy.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, we are almost out of time. We've been talking about your theatre. You're doing a show.
I'm here to do stand-up comedy. I'm hilarious.
I mean, that's how you plug it. Are you going to show off the tattoo? Is that how you close the show every night?
No. I actually was thinking of getting a tattoo. I had a premise. It didn't make it into the show. I think everyone's first tattoo should be their first email address to sort of instruct people about permanence and how tastes change and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I thought I was going to get my first email address tattooed onto my body as a reveal, but the joke wasn't funny enough, so I didn't do it.
Ovation at the end, I reckon, with that.
Guy's a legend, spelled with a Z at Gmail.
Guy's show is at the Melbourne Comedy Festival. It isn't just premises. There are also jokes at the end of them. You're going all around Australia. Ticket details are on our website. Please thank Guy Montgomery.